welcome back to the Special Church Studios. Thank you so much for joining us again on Spotlight. Like you already know, today we are bringing you another contemporary issue, something that is eating us up, that we need to draw the lines on. So today, what are we talking about? We really want to dive into the issues of abusive relationship. When we talk about abusive relationship, what do we even mean by that? How do I even know I'm in an abusive relationship? A lot of us are going through things we don't know that the name for it is abusive relationship. So God's doll, I am doing you the honors by bringing you experts, okay, well-known people who have got all the answers to the questions you have in your mind that you've not been able to voice out to anybody. So talking about experts, whom am I referring to? Are you ready? Okay, to the glory of God today, I have in the house a man who is making a lot of impact, helping people to come out of their shells and then own themselves, to be able to do the things they never thought they would be able to do. Whom am I talking about? I'm talking about Elder Henry, a champion, Obo. Elder, you are so welcome to the Spotlight.
Thank you, God's love, for having me.
Okay, so you would want to know a little bit about him. Let me tell you a little bit about whom Elder Henry Champonobo is. He is a licensed counseling psychologist and a lecturer at Pentecost University and Green Park Counseling Consult. Apart from that, he practiced at Central Castle Clinic and Green Pastures Counseling Consult in Accra. So please, if you need a counselor, somebody who will get the time for you and help you with all the things you need counseling on, there is no other I can recommend than Elder Henry, a champion.
Thank you once again.
Okay, so you know how I already do it. It is not just the two of us. Okay, there is one other woman. Me, I love to call her Mommy. Debbie, I can't say Mommy friend is her. But me, that is how I call her. She is so welcoming. If you talk about humility, okay, she's that. She's the definition of humility. She is a lawyer by profession. And if I don't tell you, will you even know? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Mrs. Vida Ousu, or she's also by that chain as well. Although they didn't know, the other friend whether her father's name or her husband's name. So sometimes I get confused. So she is in the person of Mrs. Vida Ousu, or Vida Chi. Mommy, please, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're so much welcome. So you would ask me, who is she? Let me give you a little bit of who she is. She's more than that. Okay, so Vida Chi was called to the Ghana Bar in 2014, having successfully obtained a barrister and law certificate from the Ghana School of Law. Okay, her area of specialty include commercial law, corporate law, investment law, land law, and general litigation. Oh, now we're trying to general, right? It's not limited. Okay, prior to her joining Glyco, Vida, she worked with Ghana's Attorney General's Department, Center for Development Partnership and Beyond Aid. She is currently the group head legal for Glyco Group of Companies. It's really Glyco. It's not Glyco. That is Glyco, the insurance company. That is where she works, and she is the legal head here. So today, I brought you a counselor, and I have brought you a lawyer. So you know that what we are going to talk about, we really mean business. Okay, so in that case, we are setting the ball rolling. All right. So what are we talking about? We want to know everything about abusive relationship. And we are so glad that we have you here. And to me, that mean wasting time. I'm going to go straight into my first question. So the first question that all of us have, everybody watching me has the same question is, can one be in an abusive relationship and not know? Is it possible? Me they say I'm here no me to me question no. Timpacho why already be a patron no farmer. So is it possible, please?
Yes, also it's very possible. It's very possible. So if it happened that way, then what it means is that it's as a result of ignorance. because it's not everybody that really know what they are coming to discuss when we talk of abuse. What we mean by usually the physical one. Everybody will know that at least the treatment I'm receiving from my spouse is not the best. But will they be able to really know that that is an abuse that is not supposed to be? You understand? And then all the other forms of abuse. So a lot of people really much more are ignorance about what abuse really mean. And so it's not really strange when we say that people can be in a relationship and wouldn't know. And that is more or less like even marriage. And then the ordinary, even before marriage, people that, go through courtship and their dating relationship and all that, there are so many signs that, you can see that it happens in those relationships, and they did not really know that those signs are even abusive signs. And so they just gloss over it, and then they take it to marriage, and then it becomes worse. So you ask that when they were dating, most of clients that I've handled who are married people realize that when you assess later, you will know that those signs, those abusive signs, were way back there in the relationship when they were going out, even before they enter into marriage. So the person is, didn't they know? You get it. So it's quite possible.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Laya, please, we want to add
Well,
anything?
to add to what Counselor said, yes, the thing is, some people can be in abusive relationships and honestly would not know. They cannot tell the signs because, one, it's either something they've been brought up with, so something they consider to be the norm, or two, they just assume that because the person who is meting out the abuse to them is a person of authority, somebody who is a bit higher than them, so the person has that right to do that to them, so they accept it. So it's just not the physical. Most of the time, it's physical abuse that people's attentions are drawn to because there's a physical manifestation. But there are various forms of abuse, and people don't really avert their minds to it. There's the psychological, there's the economic, there's the sexual abuse. There are quite a number, but most people want to just classify abuse as the physical abuse. Yeah, so someone can be in an abusive relationship and honest to God will not be aware that they're in an abusive relationship.
Wow. So please, you heard her mentioning the types of abuses. Don't worry. They are going to take their time to explain them. Okay, it's part of the things that I'm going to ask them. So they'll take their time to explain so that if you are in one, you get to know that you are in an abusive relationship. So far, I know you are enjoying it. Just sit down. I feel okay. All right. So that takes me to the next question. Most of the times, when we talk about abuse, just as both of you rightly said, we only look at the physical. But even if it's just the physical, when we talk about abuse in relationship, abuse in marriage, all attention draw up onto women. All attention goes to women. It's only women who suffer abuse. Women are the victims. Is it possible that men can be victims of abuse?
That's interesting.
Yes.
It's very, very possible. Is there men also go through abuse?
Oh, even the physical?
Yeah,
Wow.
all forms of abuse is not gender discriminatory.
Oh.
You get it? So what happens is that men find it difficult to report, and even if they report, they don't believe them. One, and people also then don't take them serious. Even the law enforcement, they don't take them serious. That so when you're Bema, so all kinds of things. So men really try to keep it. You understand? So men really try to keep it. Unlike the women, so it is the women's side that mostly we talked about in the media, wherever, and then you hear a whole lot of noise. But men really also go through abuse or any form of abuse. Like I said, it's not gender discriminatory at all.
Okay. So if it's not gender discriminatory, then I want to ask this next question. So if we talk about abuse in relationship or in marriage, what exactly does it mean? I want to know psychologically from your background, and then please from your background legally, please. So please, how should we define it? Yes.
Okay, so I wouldn't really define it as per se, but I think with just a simple explanation,
Okay.
so that everybody will understand what abuse in simple terms means.
Okay.
So we are talking about just a behavior or a pattern of behavior
Okay.
that one spouse actually use in order to either dominate or either isolate or coerce the other person in order to gain control in the relationship. So in general terms, that is it. It's either a behavior or a pattern of behavior that the other person uses in order to coerce or dominate or, as it were, isolate the other partner in order to maintain control in the relationship. Either marriage or pre-marriage relationship, just to gain control. So there are basically two things that they want to, those who abuse people really want to establish. Either to gain power and then to maintain control in the relationship they are in. So that is in simple terms, that is what abusive really, a relationship really is all about.
Wow. Okay. So please, lawyer.
Okay, and legally, when you look at the Domestic Violence Act, there's actually an act in Ghana that tries to, as much as possible, address abuse. But most people think it's a woman's act. No, as Elder said initially, it's not gender biased. It's both genders are victims of abuse. Now, the Domestic Violence Act actually breaks down abuse. It gives instances, instances where an act or a pattern of behavior, as he said, a continuous act. So it's either one act or a continuous act will be deemed as abuse. But when you go through the section 2, it gives all the examples. The simple word there, what runs across is misuse, maltreatment, cruelty, violence, and its sole purpose is to subjugate the person that is being meted out to. So it's to bring the person down, demean the person. So you have absolute control over the person, not just physical restraint. You know, some people think locking somebody up in a room is just you isolating the person, as Elder said, no. But they create circumstances such that you are not even able to move out to do anything for yourself without the other person's permission. So the level of control is there. It's so high that you don't even own yourself anymore. So when you read the law gives various instances when it's, but the underlying factor is the mistreatment, the abuse, the violence, the control, the domineering act of the other person. So when all these things happen, then you know that indeed person has been abused.
Okay, so right now we've given you the definition or what abusive relationship is all about. So if somebody is trying to demean you, if somebody is trying to control you, if somebody is trying to have power over you using violence, cruelty, I mean, she mentioned them, then it means that you are in an abusive relationship. So going on, let's ask this last question and then we can go on a short break and come back. So this question says that now that we understand what abusive relationship is, what are the types of abusive relationships and then how are they recognized by law? Okay, so right now we want to know the types. Me, if you ask me about abuse, I only know about the violence one. Somebody slapping me, and those kind of things, the physical one.
Okay.
And
so as I said earlier on, the Domestic Violence Act actually gives definitions, types of abuse.
okay.
So there's one they call the domestic violence itself.
okay.
Then there's the physical violence, there's the sexual violence, there's the psychological violence, and there's the economic or financial violence. Now, the physical violence is what we are used to.
Yes.
Now, the Criminal and Other Offences Act 30 gives things that we consider as violence. So if you are in a relationship with someone, now the act talks about a domestic relationship. Don't let me jump the gun. A domestic relationship is one that's between a married couple or people who live as if they are married. So although the formal arrangements have not been done, but they live as if they are married, or they live in a setting that we consider as a family, or they're expecting a child together, or they are fostering a child, or they've adopted a child. So anything that sparks, like a domestic setting, like a family setting, that's a domestic relationship. Now we talk about the types of abuse. So there's the physical abuse. The one that goes like physical hits.
Oh, yeah.
Yile, that's the one we all know.
Yeah.
That's the very common one.
When you must wash.
The bruises and the things. Then we talk about the sexual abuse.
Okay.
That's unwanted sexual contact. It's not just the penetrative sexual contact.
Oh,
No,
okay.
unwanted. So any kind of either sexual harassment, the person raps against you, the person he does something that actually it's sexual in nature, not just the full penetrative act, but a sexual contact, and it's persistent. And as we described what abuse is, you will know it's not welcoming, but the person does it just to control you. That's a sexual violence. Then you have the psychological violence. When the person actually talks down on you, that's where the verbal abuse comes in. The person has psyched your mind. He has psyched you such a way that you think that you are nothing without the person. You come out and your self-esteem is so low because of something the person has said or something the person keeps on saying to you. So, and this type of abuse is actually done by women on men. The kind of things a lot of women say to the men. Now, see what your other men are doing. See what your colleague men are doing. Wow. A man comes back, he meets the partner, and the first words that come out are not welcoming. So it's like the words are being beaten out of the person. The person plays psychological games on you, plays with your mind. What is there, and you yourself you've seen, the person ends up turning the tables as if what you are seeing is wrong. That's a psychological abuse. You can see the thing as clear, plain, simple as it is, but the person would turn the situation around such a way that you would think it's all in your mind. Then there is the economic or the financial abuse. That is what a lot of people, those who earn higher than their partners, used to deprive them. So because the other partner depends on them. And it's not just men that earn money, men that earn more money. Now, in this our current situation, some women earn much, much more than the men they are in relationships with, all sorts of relationships with. And they deprive the person of access to financial gains. So the person probably has a shop. Yeah. So let me give an example. Your partner opens up a business for you. Then he comes and every single day checks your account, goes through everything with you. And when you're even taking out money to even expend on the business he or she has set up for you, the person is preventing you. Like every single thing you need to do, you need the person's permission. Apart from that, too, the person does businesses, he opens, he has properties and things, and he sells them without your knowledge. So you can be in the house, it happens quite often than not. You can be in the house, a partner dies, maybe the man dies, then in a will, his matrimonial home, he's willed it to someone.
Wow.
So you are then all of a sudden you become homeless just because the other partner is not around. Or the properties or properties you have acquired together, one person goes and disposes of it without your permission. And it's not just to dispose of, to even make other properties, but the sole purpose is to harm you. The sole purpose is to show you that he is boss, he or she is boss, he or she is in control. So those are the instances, the types of violence that the law recognizes.
Wow.
So lawyer, just a quick one. We are also educating, and I'm also learning from the law point of view. So,
yes,
lawyer, in that case, if the person really does that without your knowledge, and you get to know later, is there any legal remedy or something?
There are quite a lot.
Okay.
There are quite a lot. So, luckily, if it is landed property, now the law says that you cannot dispose of landed property without your spouse's consent.
Okay.
So if anybody tends to deal with property, sell, lease, rent, dispose of in a will, gift, gift out something that's considered as spousal property, you will need your spouse's permission. And if it's not done, that transaction is void. So all you have to do is see a lawyer, prepare the necessary processes, and the property will be returned back to you.
Wow. Wow. So please, I'm encouraging you, if you are watching us and you have any questions, please, you are the reason why we are here. Me, I'm asking my questions, so please, if you have yours, the comment section is yours. Kindly bring in the comments. Elders, so please, before you come in, there are some comments here. I want us to take it so that they will know that we are acknowledging them, and then we will come back to you before we go on a short break. So okay, so let's acknowledge these people. Philip Akwando, thank you so much for the heads up. I think it's been worked on. If it's not, kindly let us know. He was asking us to check our volumes. Thank you so much. Okay, Michael Apia says that glad to join you. Thank you for joining us too. Susan Combe is clapping. She is happy about the topic. And then Isaac Ano is saying that interesting topic. Thank you, Papa. And then Forever Jake is asking a question. He says that, do we have anything like sex abuse, or is subjected to just physical abuse? I think that is the one you just addressed. Yes. Okay. So Forever Jake, please, if it's not clear, let us know. Thank you for your question. The next question is from Michael Apia. He's saying that, I've not read the question, but it's interesting. He's saying that it's refusal to eat food prepared by your wife an abuse. This one, yeah. Please.
It's actually an abuse.
Oh!
But you see, it's not just the one-time act. What is the reason you refusing to eat the food?
Okay.
Maybe you are fasted.
Okay.
Or you are not hungry. Or you're on a diet. There could be various reasons for refusing food. But if the main purpose of refusing the food is to gain control over your partner, that is an abuse.
Wow.
So it's not just the mere fact that your wife has cooked and you've seen it and you've glossed over it and gone to bed. No. Why are you refusing the food? Mm-hmm. And now if the reason for refusing the food is to actually maltreat the person, to misuse the person, abuse the person, then it is abuse.
Okay, so, Mama, Papa, we don't want to get abused.
Yeah, so that, just to add some, I think that one, like lawyer rightly said, so is it a form of a deliberate act of isolation?
Okay.
Isolating you because of maybe ABC, what's something that you have done, and like lawyer rightly said, to just continue to gain that kind of control. So we should also be careful not to really, because in day-to-day spousal relationship, there are things that normally we do it out of anger. Mm-hmm. You understand? Out of anger, but later, within a shortest possible time, I mean, we try to make amends and then we get over it. Yeah. But then it becomes persistent, like, I mean, a pattern of behavior, and the reason is to control the other person, then that will become, we say that it's a form of abuse. So we should not really look at the day-to-day, and then and then the evening I eat, or the next day I eat. That one is not too much of a problem, yes.
It even makes the relationship nice.
Yeah, you see.
So please, if it is not please don't take it as an abuse, right? And then get over it. Okay, so Michael Lapia said, great point there, barrister. Susan Combe says that excellent, I'm enjoying this. Rebecca Tando is saying that interesting topic. Our people are enjoying it, meaning that we are achieving our aim. God bless you so much. So before we go to the next, or Elder, before you come in to take it from the psychological perspective, the ties, please let's go on a short break. And then once we are back, we will definitely let our counseling psychologist also come in from that part. So please, in going on a break, this is yogurt, okay, mixed with coconut. And then they are proud sponsors. They go by the name Hogic. Okay, please, it is okay for every occasion. Even children can drink it. This is what they call the plain yogurt. Nicely done. Okay, you can contact them for a bulk purchase on 020-8014-280. Hug it. I mean, this yogurt, Charlie, it's nice. So let's go on a short break, and then when we come back, we will continue. Please keep the comments coming in. That is why we are here. We needed to continue the show. Thank you. Please, you can enjoy me. I'm enjoying mine.
Okay, I'm also enjoying mine.
Actually, I'm not streaming.
So much for staying with us through. We are so much glad that you are still with us. And please, like I said, we are here for you. So please, all the questions you have. Okay, maybe initially you didn't understand what an abuse is and all. Now it has been explained. So maybe there is a question you want for clarification, you have for clarification. Kindly send it in the comment section. They are here. They are your experts. Today they are not charging us per hour or per minute. Free of charge. Please bring the questions in and get your answers. So going on, Elder, we were on you, please. The psychological perspective of the types of the abuse. Please, can you come in?
Yeah, so from the psychological point of view, it's not different from what lawyer have just explained.
Okay.
With the economic, the physical, the psychological, and then the emotional. It's not different. It's the same thing.
Okay.
The only thing that I'll add is probably for us to understand that all the forms of abuse that we just talked about, it is something that really affects the person, either psychologically, even with a form of any form of abuse at all, affect the person psychologically, emotionally, and then behaviorally.
Wow.
So all the three aspects of human life, it affects. Because if it is physical, it goes a long way to affect the person's, how the person interprets the whole thing, and then how it also affects the person's feelings, and then the behavior. Or if it is psychological, depending on the words that you use and all that, it's the same thing. It affects the three aspects of the person. And even with the economical, the financial one that we talked about, the person can take decisions without the involvement of the other spouse, and so on and so forth. So what I want to add is that that the way we looked at it, because people think that, oh, it is something that this is nothing, but I want people to understand that from a psychological point of view, what any form of abuse really affects the person's mind, feelings, and then behavior. So sometimes when they put up certain behaviors, we don't really understand why the person has put up those behaviors. It's because the person has been affected from the mind and then the feeling before you are seeing it in the behavioral sense.
Wow.
So that is not different, yeah.
It's not different. It's not different. With your point, if it has something to, if it has effect on your mind, your feelings, and all. Wow.
Because the mind is that, you talked about, especially with the words that you use, everything that the person, any form of abuse, the other spouse interprets it.
Okay.
You understand? Interpret it. So when what is even more dangerous is the psychological and the emotional one. The one that, I mean, we use words on the person. You understand? It goes to a long way to affect the person's self-esteem and then the person's self-confidence. And that will even affect the person's overall general life. So even if the person is working in the office, because the person has been going through abuse in the relationship and has affected the person's self-confidence. So you can just imagine if the person, I mean, standing in front of people, because the person's self-image is down. And so it affects the person even from the way the person works. And also affect the person the way the person will be open to relationship intimacy. You understand?
Yeah.
So all these things are things that we don't really consider them that much. But I want viewers to, and those who are watching and learning, know that it goes even a long way of, I mean, leading to divorce.
Wow.
Because the person goes through abuse for a long time. And I know of a certain case, I mean, the person did not know that what she was going through was an abuse.
Okay.
Until it got to a time, she began, I mean, knowing it from other quarters. And then she said that no. It got to her neck, and this time I can't take it anymore. And so I just want to leave the relationship. You get it?
Wow. Wow. So, okay, so because of what you just said, is it possible to get out of an abusive relationship? If yes, how?
Yeah, it's possible to get it. It's a decision that the victim has to take. You understand? It's a decision that the victim has to take. And initially, the person will consider it like a normal relationship. There are things, I mean, try to get the commitment of the other person to change certain things. And so if the change, over time, the change doesn't happen, and the person gets fed up, it means that the person has to walk out from the relationship. But I always tell people that walking out is just the first step.
Oh, okay.
Even when you take the decision to walk out, that's just the first step. Depending on what kind of abuse you've gone, and then how long you've been in that abusive relationship. So when you even take the decision to walk out, after that, what's next? For your own life, how do you fix yourself? And so people just walk out, and it's like, because when you work out, the first thing is that you have to manage or cope with the abusive memories, because you are there and the certain words that the person has used on you, certain things that the people play back. And so when it's playing back, how do you fix yourself? You get it? Yes. So I always say that it's a decision. When people go through abuse and other things, yes, before marriage, others really, like we said earlier, others will not, I mean, will say it's out of love. Because, yes, when somebody will punch the other person, will make an attempt to beat you, and they consider it's an act of love. And they even say that love is blind. So, I mean, this one is blinding me. I didn't see. I can tell you, yes, a lot of people have gone through it, and it's like, oh, I didn't know what to do. Now they want to get out from the marriage. But the signs were there. So it's something that we all have to learn from. And then when you get to a point we need to walk out, I think that I will not say just jump and walk out.
Okay.
You can take some decisions, some steps, okay, to get the person's commitment to change, because people change.
All right.
People change.
People say it's difficult, or people don't change.
No, people change.
Really?
People change.
Wow.
People change. From our side, from psychological side, we don't consider that people do not change.
Oh, okay.
Irrespective, people change. If people do not change, then what do we work on?
Oh, okay.
Because we change the mind, we
That
talk
is
about the
true.
mind, we change your behavior and other things. So then why are we here? Yeah, me and mind, yeah, you see.
Well,
Yes.
to come in, that you can live, yes, you can live an abusive relationship. Now, the law actually gives remedies for you to come out of an abusive relationship. The first is to report to the police. So you report to the Domestic Violence Support Unit, DOFSU, the one we all call, it used to be WAJU, now it's DOFSU. You report to the police, And if it's something that the police need to accompany you to go to the person's place to maybe pick up your items or your children or something, the law mandates the police to go with you.
Okay.
To escort you, give you the protection to go there. Then you can actually even ask for a protection order from the court. You can seek a protection order from the court to prevent the person from coming around you if it has gotten to that stage. What Elder was saying that people change. Yes, people do change, but the initial stage is to separate yourself from the abuse, especially when the other person is not showing any signs of changing, hasn't shown any commitment. You know, some people can say, oh, Major, I've stopped, I'm not going to do it anymore, especially when the police invite them. But you realize that the act is still continuing. The other person, the one meting out the abuse, needs to give that commitment, needs to make positive steps, take positive steps to actually stop the abuse. Until then, the victim has to separate themselves from you. And it can easily be done. Wow. Apart from going to the police, I believe that as people, we should have support units. You should have a good support unit, your family, your friends, not the crazy friends who, when you just have any little issue at home, they'll advise you, pack and leave. If it's to be me, I'll pack and leave. No, I'm talking about sane, reasonable people who would give you dispassionate views, opinion. Not somebody who would just, the first word that comes to my mind is leave. No. I'm talking about reasonable people, but you need that kind of support unit to help you. So, but you can leave. You shouldn't stay there and go like, especially if it's the emotional type. How am I going to fend for myself? How am I going to take a... People have come to Accra with nothing. They've survived. They've made it. So can you. Yeah. So you shouldn't look at exactly what you're leaving behind. The kind of life you have. It can be done. You shouldn't stay in the abuse and think that that is all you know and where are you going to start from. You can always start from somewhere.
You can always start from somewhere. So
just quick one. You see, lawyer talked about the, I mean, when somebody report to the police, then it means that the department, DOPSU, so you handle it. So usually DOPSU every DOPSU is supposed to have a counseling unit.
Okay.
I used to practice, I was at Ministries, DOPSU branch. They have a counseling unit. I don't know most of the other DOPSU branch, but Ministries has one. So normally when they report those kind of abuse and all forms of, marital issues and other things, the first thing is that so the police will weigh which one they can take to court immediately, and then most of the times the other one that they need counseling and other things, they will also refer to us when I used to be there. So that is all, in a sense, also help that even when it's good, because there are other, in our Ghanaian context, people really, especially the men, when you jump, I know there was this, I don't know what to say, but this security officer that the wife reported him to the police. And even when he came to the only thing is, it's not even about what he has done to the wife. What really hurts him is the fact that she has reported him. So I have to take a whole lot of session to even deal with that alone. Wow. Before we can even go with the reconciliation and then later on take them through counseling. Hey. You see, so the reporting, like lawyer said, if your life is really threatened and even the emotional one, sometimes it can even lead to depression, and then even you contemplate suicide and all that. So it's best that you don't really stay in there, but take some steps, you understand, to get the person's commitment or professional help, or if not, maybe isolate yourself and then save yourself first. If you are secured and you are healthy, the issue can be dealt with, whatever it is.
Wow. Okay. So I'm sure that you are really, really getting educated and you are getting something to live with, something great to live with. So right now I want us to go to the comment section and see what we've got there. So coming from Edmond Prince Owusu, he's giving us all the beautiful signs with the fire signs, meaning that it's going on well. Okay, that is Mrs. Owusu here, so Mr. Owusu is giving her all the support. Thank you, Mr. Owusu. Okay, so Michael Apia is asking, men are subjected to serious emotional abuse by women once the financial table turns in their favor. How should women relate to their husbands? And again, how should men adjust in that period? I know maybe I should take the question again.
Yeah, the question is quite clear. It's okay.
Okay.
I understand. While the financial is turned into their favor,
Yes.
and they subject the men into serious emotional abuse because now they are economically powerful.
Men and money.
You get it.
Eh.
So I think that we are, with this program, we are trying to educate all, especially those in marital relationships, that is more so if you know that it's a Christian marriage. All Christian marriage, the principles and how you're supposed to relate, okay, in a marital relationship, more so if it's a Christian marriage, everything is explained from God's point of view. And you having economically power to actually doing that is not way not accepted in any marital relationship. You talk about, let alone talk about Christian marriage. It's not supposed to be like that, because if you do that, one day the table can also turn. You understand? Yeah. And so we will appeal to people who are doing that is not acceptable. Okay. And that is the more reason why when God has blessed you with something, I mean financial, you should be able to support your family and then support the man wherever, whichever way possible. And that in itself will be an act that God is also going to bless you. You're going to have an awesome relationship and all that. So I think that I will appeal to those who are watching us that it is not acceptable. And anybody doing that must change.
Okay.
And especially if you're a Christian. You see, marriage is a covenant from God. And he's giving us clear rules. What a man is supposed to do, what a woman is supposed to do, what children are supposed to do, what even servants in the house are supposed to do. The fact of who a man is, what God has ordained a man to be, is not changed by the fact that he's not the one bringing a bigger meat to the table. So just because the husband in the house, your husband is not earning as much as you do, or maybe he's not even bringing home any support, like financial support, doesn't mean that you should be abusive. It doesn't change from the fact that he's still your husband. His character hasn't changed. His God-ordained role hasn't changed. You see, but the thing, what makes some women, I'm not going to generalize, what makes some women actually behave that way is because of their treatment the men have meted out to them when they were in power of, when they were financially more stable. So it is like, okay, the tables have turned, so it is now my turn. I'm going to show you because you were showing me.
Okay.
So that's what Elder said, especially about the, so you see, the thing about emotional or psychological abuses, some people go through it and it's in their head, and they think that because you have power, that's why you are dominating. That's why you are controlling me. So now if I have the power, I tend to turn the tables around.
Yes.
But that's for some women. But some women too, it's their nature. Subambone is hidden somewhere, and now they have the opportunity to express it. Okay. So as Elder said, oh, we appeal to you. But if you're a Christian, and you know, you profess that you are a Christian, you know what a Christian wife is supposed to be.
Yes.
So you behave as a Christian wife.
Yes. Yes.
So
Okay.
just a quick one. I think what Barrister said is perfectly true. The point really, we also, as Christian spouses, we need to understand, and even those who are preparing to also enter into marriage need to understand, is that from Genesis chapter 2, verse 24 and 25, when God said, for this reason a man will leave his mom and cleave with his husband, and the two shall be one and not ashamed. They were naked. That foundation really explains that whatever that you have is also mine.
Okay.
You understand? So from Christian, the foundation that God laid, because marriage and relationship is not man's idea, it's God's idea.
God's idea.
So when he created or he made it, he also laid those foundations there. So it includes money.
Okay.
So you can work all right, you are working all right, I'm working as a man, I receive my salary, but when I bring it home, the money that I have, the money that my wife has, is for us, it's our money.
Yeah.
So my money is your money is my money.
Please, you're talking about married people.
Yes, married people. I'm talking about married people. And so if we are entering into marriage, we should understand. I know in Ghanaian, some culture and other things, we have different view.
Yes.
But this is Christian
Yes.
principles for marriage.
Yes.
And so whatever you have is mine. It's not only about, even including your kaba. If I can wear your kaba, it's also mine. I can wear it. So it includes the money. And then secondly also, like Barrister said, if the man has, I mean, when he was having money, he maltreated you and other things, so the table turned and you want to that, we should also understand that the role that God gave to spouses, the male and then the husband and then the wife in marital relationship, there's no condition attached to it. It's very difficult though, because you have done something wrong and now I have the opportunity, so I have to do. But the Bible says that no, there's no condition. Whether the person has done, will do it or not. For example, the Bible says that as a man, I should what? Love, right?
Yeah.
Whether you submit or you do not submit, I must
Have
love.
to love.
So there's no condition to that. So we should, it's a higher form, and
So
if we
I
understand,
think it's the
quite
other
clear.
way around. Whether you love or not, I must submit.
Submit, that is it.
Oh, okay.
That is it.
Right. Okay. So I think we are having a lot of questions coming in, and our time too. So this one, let's see how best we can take all of them short, and yes, maybe we can hold on to what we have here. So okay, Mike Lapia is still asking. He's saying that, counselor, what is the correlation between emotional abuse and impotence? Barrister, can men sue based on that?
Okay, so one goes to me and one goes to lawyer. Okay, all
Lawyers.
right. Yeah. Somebody may, you can go through serious emotional abuse, and if that leads to, I mean, stress, that eventually lead you to become depressed, it can affect you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can affect you. And it's most of the time it affects them. People who have been through serious emotional abuse will tell you that it affects their sexual intimacy.
Oh.
Yeah, it affects their, even sometimes when I'm taking them through counseling, the first thing that after that I give them assignment. When you go within a week, you just initiate some intimacy or love making within 1 week, and they come, and sometimes it's very difficult to even initiate one.
Wow.
You understand? So I haven't read direct literature on that, whether it's going to lead to impotence, but I know for sure that it can affect you, and you wouldn't even remember that you have that thing there.
Wow. So they can sue. Lawyer.
Oh, yes, you can. But you see, the thing about law is evidence.
Yes.
If you can prove,
Yes.
so if it can be proven, that what you're going through is as a whatever end result, as the one commenting is asking.
Yes.
Impotence. If you can actually prove that you as a result of the emotional abuse you've gone through, it has caused impotence, why not? But you don't even need to prove the impotence. If you can just show that you've gone through abuse, oh yes, you can actually sue the other person.
Wow.
So it will be hard for you to prove, because the impotence also can, there are so many things, medically and other things can affect you. So like she said,
you don't need to prove the impotence. You just have to prove the emotional abuse.
Okay.
And that is grounds enough
Okay.
to go to court.
Right.
That is good.
All right.
Okay.
So then let's take Philip Akwando's question. He says that, please, a wife or husband is starving the other partner of their sexual rights. Is it abusive relationship, and is it corrected?
From law, by law.
Well, I don't know, both of you.
Psychologically, it's abusive.
It is abusive.
It's abusive. And like we said, yes, people change, so it can be corrected. If the reason why the person is doing that, you understand. So that is the reason why you need to get professional help. And of course, it's not going to be the first time. There are many people who have gone through serious situations like that. And so, yes, we talked about sexual abuse, right?
Yes, we
Yes.
did.
So that is also common.
So,
The first thing we need to establish is, why are you depriving the person? It's not just a one day affair saying, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I'm not in the mood. You need to find out exactly why is the person depriving you of sexual intimacy.
even that it should be continuous, right?
Oh,
Not just
even one
once.
time it's enough, but you just need to ask why.
Oh,
You see,
okay.
that it's not just the act. For any crime, there are two facets.
Okay.
There's the act itself, and there's the intention. There's the mind, and there's the physical manifestation.
Okay.
So the physical manifestation is depriving the person. But what is the intent behind you depriving the person? Most often, this one, I know my sisters will get angry at me. Women tend to deprive their husbands of sex
Okay.
just because they probably want something from them. So it goes like, okay, then this night you will see what will happen. Then they come to bed and there's no access. Some put on the tightest of jeans, even they themselves cannot even put on or take off. Some will just even will do something to the extent that you will not even come near them to even initiate the act.
Wow.
So the thing is the intent. Why are you doing that?
Okay.
It's not just the deprivation. Oh, we are depriving because maybe we are fasted. We are tired. I just put to bed. It's the time of the month. Those are valid reasons.
Okay.
But you should ask yourself, why are you depriving the person? If it's to gain control, you see, the main thing of abuse is control, dominate, mistreat, violence. You see, demean. If the act you are doing, anything you are doing at home, if it is to act any of them,
Yes.
bring about any of these reasons, that's when it becomes abusive. But not just the mere fact that the person says, today I'm not, or, oh no. And besides, if you are really married and you love your wife, there's a way you can always get sexual contact. There's always a way, no matter how angry she is.
Yeah.
Counselor, that one, Demi, I know.
Yeah.
it's very true. I say, in Pennyford, say, Okona, our form, you know, Ekwan. Whom besides say, then I besides down on, then I see. So the act, what is happening today,
Yes.
the cause is not what you are saying. And no, then you see.
Then you see,
Maybe
yeah.
even yesterday somebody denied
Somebody or something.
and then that is causing that.
Okay.
Yeah, so those who don't understand, Chi, sorry, I mean, the host will interpret it for you.
Okay, it says that when you meet a couple fighting or a couple having an argument, heated one, of course, before you say anything, do not ask that what is going on or what is happening. The question you should ask is, what happened the last time? Literally, what happened the last time could be the reason why you find them in that state. So don't go like, oh, then what is happening? What is going on? Either what happened the last time, and then you can get all the answers you need. So we will be going on a short break right now. But before we do, let's take Philip's other question. Philip is asking that if your partner has provided you with everything you need, be it cars, houses, clothes, and money, and everything except his presence, does that qualify as an abusive relationship? Counselor.
Yeah, so this really, I don't know, but this really goes to probably, you see this a lot in the life of businessmen.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
They are so busy such that they don't have time for the other.
Yes.
So that's why I'm not using the woman or because it can be either way.
Okay.
This question, some women who can be very, very busy. And another thing, they won't have time for the husband. So it's either way. So really you need to look at it because what we are discussing, every marital relationship is unique and different.
Yes.
And then abuse or abusive relationship really also comes in different forms in different marital relationships. So you may have to look at it and see why is it so. Is it a genuine reason that maybe the person is doing some business and is not having time, not with the motive of really, isolating you or undermining you or, dominating or all the terms, you understand? But there's a genuine reason that, I mean, because of the business and because of the schedule at work and other things, that is what is causing that. So it's really when the two couple really sit down, they can talk about it, and then they can learn how to adjust and make some compromises, you understand, and sacrifices of certain things that they're supposed to do so that they can. But if they do all this and it doesn't work, then maybe they can also seek for help so that at least the other person will also. I mean, there's adjustment. Marital relationship is all about sacrifices, compromises, and all that. So, from the question, I don't know
You
if
can't
it's,
really
yes, say that
it's
that is an abuse, yes, because there may be a genuine reason.
Okay. Okay, so let's just take a short break, and then once we are back from that short break, we will go on to take some more questions from here, and then we can bring the show to an end. Our time is fast spent, but you know topics like this, Charlie, but still we would have to end. So let's take a short break. Thank you for staying with us. Keep the questions coming. Welcome back from that short break, and thank you for still staying tuned. Okay, so please, like I said, questions, the comments, okay? Do not watch this show without asking that question and then going home with it. After here, if you want to go and see counselor, please, you pay. If you want to go and see barrister, to please, you pay. It is not free anymore. So ask the questions and get the answers from here. So we are left with a few minutes to leave here. So if you have any question, Pacho, let it come in first. So coming back, let me take the next question. Okay, so David Diche Awuku is saying that interesting topic. Thank you, sir. And then Philippa Aquando is still having a question. He says that, what are the signs of an abusive partner? Okay.
We were talking about this already.
Yeah, I think we've already done justice to that. So then let's take David Duche Awuku's question. He's saying that further explanation on cultural, environmental contribution to abuse of both gender. So yeah, I think he needs to know what role cultural and then environmental, the role, further explanation on cultural, environmental contribution to abuse of gender. What role does the cultural environment play in an abusing a relationship, kind of?
Yeah, so with the cultural and environmental perspective, what it depends, because some cultures really will consider certain things that a man is supposed to do in a relationship. You understand? And particularly with the economic abuse that we talked about, some cultures believe that it is a man who's supposed to, I don't know, also sure, he is supposed to take care of you. And they do not believe that your money, my money, principle is our money from the Christian point of view. So it means that if I have the money, the woman is working and has money. Some really will say that you should keep your money, and then I'm sure I'll take care of you. You understand?
Yeah.
But then what happens if one day the man loses his job?
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
The man loses his job. So is that you are going to tell the woman to now use her money to support the home?
Yeah, that's serious.
You understand?
Yes.
So some cultures and their beliefs about some of the things that we are talking about, particularly the explanation we gave earlier, relate to more with Christian marriage. And the principle, like I said, marriage itself is God's idea. And so if any culture have something and the people are Christians, then I would recommend that is one reason why every Christian couple go through premarital counseling, so that they will understand all this. And then from the cultural perspective, if you have been brought up with that kind of idea, you must know that it wouldn't really so work or applicable in the marriage you are entering. You understand? So depending on the culture and the kind of beliefs and values that they have, and definitely it's going to play a role, because the people themselves were brought up in that kind of, environment, and then the culture. And so what they believe in is what they are going to do in the marital relationship.
Wow.
Yes.
So, I don't know if this is possible, but from your explanation, I just want to ask this. What if prior to the marriage, I didn't really know that in your culture, this is how men treat women. Maybe we didn't get to that point. And then I get married to you and you start melting those kind of treatment to me. Doesn't it qualify to be an abuse for me? Can't I quantify that as an abuse?
Yeah, so lawyer will tell you that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So it means that even if you don't know, and we are in relationship and those things, all the abuse we talked about, you are still doing them. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So it means that the person will get your commitment to change. And if you don't change, it means that you can take action, and like we talked about. So we should rather know that is it, and then learn other things. And that's the more reason why such programs like this is going on, and it's also educative when we are learning from it. So we shouldn't not say that I've come to know that this is how it's supposed to be, but what we believe in is not the best.
Yes.
So subjecting me into such behavior or treatment is not the best. Yes. You cannot say that, oh, that is how our culture for men, we handle women this way. And so that's no, it should not be so.
It should not be so. It should not be so. Okay, so, all right. I think we have one last question here, and then I'll ask my final question, and then we can be out of here. So, Michael Appiah is applauding you, or he's saying that you are all doing so well. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Philip Aquado, he's saying that this is my last question. He says, please, what will make one person stay in an abusive relationship? Why is it difficult for somebody to get out of an abusive relationship?
Yeah. Difficult to get out.
Yes. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Sometimes people believe they have nowhere to go. The first thing is they ask themselves this. The first question they ask themselves is, where am I going from here? What support is this for me? Some people stay in abusive relationships because the home probably they are coming from, either their mother or their father was never married, so they want to change the status quo. So no matter how bad it is, they want to stay in there. Some too look at the financial consideration, the things that come to them. So because of that, they want to stay in there. Thirdly, some just accept it. Some don't even know they are being abused, as we said earlier on.
Yes.
So they don't even know they have to even leave. And there's some, and especially if it's a cultural one, as our counselor said.
Yes.
The person grew up seeing the father beating the mother,
Yes.
maltreating the mother. So to him or her, that is how it's supposed to be. So the person really can't tell. But you can't come out if you choose to. So the reason some people stay there, and the thing is a need. People stay because of need. Need is not just financial. Some people want that that physical endorsement. Some people enjoy the Mrs. title.
Okay.
So amongst her peers, everyone is married. She doesn't want to be the divorcee, so she will stay. So it's not just the, how will I, most of the time we think people stay in abusive relationships because of the money, the financial gains. No, there are other things.
But what about those who are not married? They are just in, maybe they are just courting, or they've just, they are now looking at getting to that level. And then they are being abused, but still they are staying. They know they are being abused. Well, some of them stay audible. I think initially you mentioned that.
Personally, I would advise anyone, before you enter into marriage, you are under no compulsion. There's no rule anywhere that whoever you are courting is supposed to marry the person. So before you take the final step to marry the person, if you're uncomfortable, leave.
Okay.
That is my plain advice, leave. If not, you will give a lawyer a job to do. And we, if you come, we'll charge you. Win or lose, we'll make money from you.
Yes.
So before, don't even wait for it to get to that extent. I know as counselor has said people can change. So some of us are going to hold on to just that sentence he said. But you see, he gave other conditions.
Yes.
And when you come to our chambers, I remember my senior will say, oh, this one is marriage matter. Give it to Vida, she's the dickness. When you come, the first question I'll ask you is, how long have you been with the person? Then they will tell you, how long did you date the person? How long did you were you courted? When, like, you ask the basics and realize there's something that was happening before. And honestly, people change, yes, but it takes a lot for them to change. So don't even enter it. Leave. And you will get someone, honest to God, someone way better. Way, way better than what you are in. That's not the end. Like, it's not the only person. That is not the norm. It's actually the exception. Don't be it.
Okay, so I think we had a last question, but somebody has asked another question. Maybe people didn't really get this, but I think it's the most important part they really need to get. So maybe in the next 1 minute, you would want to take this again. Asan Ninson Evans, he's asking, he says that God bless all of you for the wonderful discussion. I want to know what causes relationship abuse. Is it because the partner takes the other partner for granted, or what? Yes. Or because one is dependent on the other. Maybe that bit is still not clear, so maybe you would want to come in again, Counselor.
Yeah, so the cause, I think we've mentioned that, but let's repeat that. We said that some of the cause can be as a result of the person's upbringing.
Okay.
It means that the person has a history. I mean, from either the person has gone through abuse herself or himself. You understand? And so when you enter into a relationship, or the person has witnessed an abuse, okay, and has considered it to be normal part of relationship. It could be a child growing up seeing the father maltreating and mishandling the mother, and the mother was in there, staying there, still submitting and all that. And so the child grows up and realizes that no, that's how it is. One child told me, and he was in, I think, stage 4 or so. He said, "Mimi, I'm a worrying baby brain." You understand? Where is it coming from? Say 4 child. You understand? When I grow up, I will marry so many women. You understand? And others like that. So the history and the upbringing and the fact that the person has gone through abuse can be one of the cause. Another cause can also be that some also have psychological problems.
Okay.
Yes, and they have mental problems. And so, or some mental disorders.
Okay.
And so they treat human being anyhow. They can treat you. They don't see. They don't see you like human being.
Oh, okay.
You understand? And so that is an extreme level, but it happens all the time in relationship, and then it can even be caused by some kind of substances the person has been, smoking and taking in, that has affected their mind.
Okay.
And so can treat you anyhow, and will feel okay, will feel normal, will feel good. You understand?
Yes.
And so that is also there. And then if some people also have what I called empathy deficit. You see, empathy, putting yourself in your person's shoes and feeling the way the person feels. If you don't have that kind of, human feeling for the other. And so I'm a man, I need to know that my wife is also a human being like me. When I'm insulted, I know that I have the feeling that, how, if putting myself in her shoe, how will she feel? You understand? So if you have that kind of empathy deficit, you can also do so many things and you don't even feel for the person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't feel for the person. You treat the person anyhow. You go, you isolate the person, you say all kind of things. Like,
okay.
Yeah, you feel okay because you are not feeling. I don't see any good thing in you. I don't see anything that you've done and you've been successful. Meanwhile, by the time you're going through the history, there are so many things. Once somebody said, the husband told the wife, you've always been a failure. There's nothing that you've done. And I asked the wife, how many children do you have? She mentioned. I said, who took care of them? She. Are you not working? He said, working. Since you married, have you built a house? They have a mansion. So you assess and realize that there's so many things that the wife has done and then has been successful, and even bringing 4 children.
Wow.
Even one child. Is it a failure?
No,
you
not
understand?
at all.
So these are some of the things. So these are some of the causes, among other things. They are many, but these are some of the causes.
We have actually exceeded our time. We have exceeded our time, so we are wrapping up. Please forgive us. We are wrapping up. We really, really need to wrap up. Just that the topic is such that once you won't realize that you've been talking for an hour. It's really like that. So ending, I just want to ask this question, that what advice can we give to married couple? This one I want to talk about it in the marriage sense, because if it's a relationship, just as Barrister Riley said, you are not married, you can always walk out. But if I'm married and then I know that I'm being abused, okay, it's that bad. What advice can you give me, considering the fact that we are Christians? I know we can't advise divorce. So please, there is somebody who really needs this. What's the advice in the next 2 minutes?
Yeah, so for my point, I would say that the perpetrators of abuse, they have to understand, if you're a Christian spouse and you are doing all the things, you are abusing the other spouse, you should know that God will judge you one day. Because God, who is the originator and the creator of marriage, also laid foundation, and some of them they are command that you should do. And so if you don't do that, and your maker one day asks you that, I asked you to love, I asked you to submit, I asked you to do this. Did you do it? You have no excuse than to say, you have no excuse to say that I did not do it because the other person didn't do it.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
It's just like Adam and Eve. When Eve, gave the fruit to Adam and here, then God came and then asked Adam. It wasn't me, it was the woman. Did God say that, okay, it wasn't you because, so you are okay, I allow you? No. They punish him.
Yes.
You understand? So if you are a spouse, please let's maintain our role and then let's do what we are supposed to do. If you are abusing somebody, have human feeling and understand the empathy. Put yourselves in the person's shoe, and your spouse know that all the things you've been saying, if he or she has to say the same thing to you, or the beating, if he also has to beat you or he also has to beat you, how will you feel? And so that we'll change and then try to take different approach in our marital relationship and have, enjoyable marital relationship. And that will help you. Overall, your health will be good. You can work yourself. You'll be comfortable yourself. And as for those victims, I think we've talked a lot. We've given a lot of advices that you need to take steps to, and including even maybe lawyers will say temporary separation, and then to fix yourself. I always say that if you move out and you need a separation, don't stay in the separation doing nothing. The separation itself should be used to, change the marriage all over again, for reconciliation, for proper counseling and everything. So that by the time that you go, either it will lead to reconciliation, you come back newly marital relationship, or if it doesn't work and it will lead to the lawyer side for divorce, then it goes to their side. So
Okay,
that's my advice for everybody. Yes.
all right, barrister, advise us.
Well, my advice would be, do not just jump the gun and say, I'm getting a divorce.
Okay.
There are steps. You see, before even a divorce petition is granted, the question the judge asks is, has the marriage broken down beyond reconciliation? That's the only ground for a divorce to be granted. So there are other facts, maybe adultery or the rest. Yes, those are just facts. But the main concern of the judge is, has it broken down beyond reconciliation? So that is what we're going to look at. If the abuse is that bad, to the extent that there have been several attempts to reconcile, several attempts to settle, and nothing positive is coming out of it, I would advise you, see a lawyer, get a divorce. Save your life, especially if there are children involved. As Counselor was saying, whatever we do, the children watch, they emulate. They grow up thinking it is okay, it is right. But that is not so. And the law is not going to say that your father or your mother was abusive, so you are excused from being abusive. No. So as a parent, or as, especially for the women, leave. Separate yourself a bit. Walk out of the place. As a counselor said, whilst you are away, better yourself. Physically, emotionally, financially, better yourself. And if indeed the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation, the word there is beyond reconciliation. Nothing can be done to salvage the marriage. Then you get the divorce.
Okay, so please, if this is you, you've had the best of advice you can ever get. Free of charge. Free of charge. So finally, please, this is me. And then maybe there is somebody I know, very close to me, a relative, maybe my sister, my brother, is going through an abuse. That person has confided in me. What can I do to help? Yes.
So do whatever you can to help. So that the first thing is that you should, because if the person is a victim, the first thing is to help the person take certain steps that will make the person feel comfortable.
Okay.
Your focus should be on the person. With me, when my clients come, my first thing is that my clients will be psychologically sound, emotionally stable, and behaviorally good, so that when they sleep, they can sleep. When they go to work, they can do. So temporarily, the issue cannot be resolved one day. Especially if the abuse has become the person's behavior and the causes and everything. Somebody who has gone through abuse himself or herself and it's also perpetrating those abuse. Do you think the person can change all of a sudden? No. It takes time before the person can change and or make some certain commitments and other things. But between that time to the time that the person changes, we don't know. So you have to take certain steps that will make you feel comfortable first.
Okay.
When you are emotionally stable, psychologically sound, then whether reconciliation, going to the family or, settling it and other things, if you are in that group, then we can look at the issue, solve it. So I always recommend that if they come to you, the first thing is that let them learn how to forgive.
Okay.
Let them, because that is the first thing, the first Christian principle. And they are doing that not the fact that the person has changed or the person has to change. No, they are doing that for their own benefits. Because when you forgive and you let go all the things, because the pain and the hurt and other things that, I mean, is in you, you let it go, and so that you yourself can be fit and go about your normal work and other things. And of course, the Bible did not say that when the Bible commands us to forgive whatever somebody has done to us, there wasn't any condition attached to it. So whether the person initially has apologized or not, you learn how to forgive. And that makes you feel loved yourself, and also stop blaming yourself.
Okay.
Tell the person to stop blaming him or herself. And all the things that the person has been saying to him or herself, you should stop it.
Wow.
And so that when he or she start loving herself, forgiving and other things, she will be okay. And once you are okay, you sleep, you can sleep. Then the next thing is that we will take certain steps to deal with the matter.
Okay.
Whatever is happening, before it goes to even the affair. So we shouldn't just jump, and your prime focus should not be on the other spouse from the beginning. No.
Okay.
Let the person feel okay best. Okay. Then after that, we tackle the main issue.
All right.
And your question was, if someone approaches you, the person is going through abuse.
Yes.
Well, especially if it's physical abuse, the law says you can report.
Okay.
So it's not even you. Sometimes we live in a compound, like a compound house, and you hear that one spouse is always beating the other spouse. You can hear it, you can see, there's evidence.
Yes.
You that you see, the law enjoins you to actually make a report to the police. So you can actually go to the police and report. It doesn't mean the person is going to get arrested. They're going to refer the person to dog sleep. Then the processes will start.
Oh.
So you can give that advice.
No, can say man smile so.
Oh, they say it all the time.
Man smile.
Yes, I do it. But you see, but if the person dies in your compound, all of you be prime suspects.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
People say it all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't send you, and it's my own husband. My own husband is beating me. How is it your concern?
Yes.
If she's beaten and there's internal bleeding and she falls down in the public, if you're not lucky, and she dies in the public space, all of you that share the public space, you'll be prime suspects. Until you come and give an alibi, I was in the market, I was asleep, I was this, I was that, you would have spent at least a day in the police station. And we know in how Ghana police ourselves are, they're not comfortable. So you can make that report. You can draw the attention of the family if you have that access. If you know the people, they are a bit like respect, you can inform the person, this is what you have noticed. So if you have a friend, a sister, a cousin, anyone who comes to you and gives you that, there are several options. But if it's a physical abuse and you are seeing it, it's none of your business, yes. But if something happens to the person, you will be held, yes, if you are not lucky, you don't give proper explanation of your whereabouts when the thing happened, you'll be held accountable.
Yes.
So you can take that step.
Wow. Okay. I don't even know how to say that we've ended the show, because I don't know. If we want to ask questions, there is a lot of them that we can ask. But thank you. Thanks to you, this show was possible because you start to watch us and because you engaged us with your questions. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Pa. I hope that you've really gotten a lot of information and you've been educated beyond measure on what to do if you are in an abusive relationship or you know of anybody going through the same thing. So please, that is why I brought these two wonderful people God has blessed us with. Elder Henry Echampon Obo, he is a counselor. Psychologically, he can help you anyhow, whatever kind of counseling you need him for. Please, you will just have to get to him. And then if it is a legal issue, just as she said, she is known for other specific ones, but general litigation, you can definitely fall on her. Or it can be corporate and all other ones, like I mentioned. You don't worry. At the end of the show, I'm going to put their details in the comment section so that you can know exactly what they are into. But for you to contact them, if you really need them, Elder, please, how do we get to you if we need you personally?
Okay, so my number, you can call me on 0243 460077. 0243 460077. I'm at Central Kaswa Clinic.
Okay.
So if you are, you know there, then you can also come in
Yes,
there.
or you can just call for direction to where he practiced, the Central Cancer Clinic. That was his contact. If you didn't get it, after the show, go to this part, play it again, the number will come right in. Right. Okay.
If you are in Accra too, you can come to Chado, last stop.
Chado,
We have
okay.
a Green Pastures Counseling Consult.
Right.
It's a registered counseling consult,
Right.
registered psychologist there who can help you. It's at Chado, last stop. You come
Okay.
there, you see our consult there.
All right, that is great.
Thank you.
So, lawyer.
Well, if you want to contact me, you can call me on 0243 469782. The number is 0243 469782. I'm available on WhatsApp. If you're a member of PIWC, downtown of Ako, I'm very approachable, so you can come to me.
That's
You can
great.
always refer. I'm always available.
Elder too is very approachable. Both of them, they are just so humble. You can approach them. If you know them in person, maybe you've never spoken to them, this is an opportunity. They will never ever let anybody know what you have discussed with them. Trust me on that, I do know them. So please, you can confide in them any day, any time.
God's door.
Yes, Daddy.
You've already been a wonderful host.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy. So, and it's sad, yeah, that it means that I am leaving you people with a peace and then the joy of the Lord. Thank you so much. I hope that this helped you to find the confidence you need to come out and then get the needed help. To this end, we say that God bless you all so much. And the team, the technical team, Nyami Shamunyina, the producers, the camera guys, the directors, the sound room, all of you, God bless you so, so much. This is possible because you gave us that time. Daddy, please, and Mommy, please, my show, when you come and then you are leaving, please, you have to do an action song. I don't know which one you really like. When you were in Sunday school, you have to ask the action. Say it's new.
Hey, sir. I see. Any of our brain?
More Sunday school, no. With the answer that you help us. Sunday school, not and your men up. What they say, oh, kids, no. All your bow tie in your move. That is your no a busy sing.
Which one is it on you? Which one?
They went out, Papa. All the action songs. Collage.
My head,
My shoulder, my knees, my toes, my head, my shoulder, my knees, my toes, my head, my shoulder, my knees, my toes, they all belong to Jesus. They all belong to Jesus. Okay, thank you so much. This is hot cake, okay? So please get their yogurt for all of your occasions. It is the best. It is really, really the best. I'll put the number in the comment section. You can reach them, and then whatever occasion you are having, you can use it. You can get it for home. The children will love it. So, bye-bye. See you next week, God willing. Bye. They all belong to